Hi, I'm Kendra Perdeaux, ergonomist with Humantech of VelocityEHS brand. And today I am on site in Midland, Michigan at BOSTONtec. And I'm joined with Rob Doucette. He's the applications engineer. Rob, why don't you tell us a little bit about BOSTONtec?
Absolutely. BOSTONtec is a leading manufacturer of ergonomic height adjustable workstations. We've been providing solutions to customers for over 25 years, and we are very well known for our custom capabilities.
Wow, very impressive. So I see we are standing in front of one of your examples of your customizable workstations. Can you kind of walk me through the process that you would take a starting client if they've come to you and asked, hey, we're looking at installing some workstations, what are a couple steps that you would take?
Well, absolutely. Once we get on site, one of the first things we got to do, and it may sound real basic, but we have to determine the purpose of the workstation. What is being done at the station? Is it an assembly station? Is it a fulfillment station? Is it a combination of both? Once we've determined that, then we can start asking questions such as operators. Who's going to be working at the station? Is it a single shift, single operator, or is it a multi-shift, multi-operator situation? That will help us determine whether it's an electric height adjustable or a fixed height station.
Excellent. And I know from my experience with being on site and working with clients, that's often a big question that comes in is, should we have a height adjustable workstation or fixed? So what are some determining factors that you look for?
Well, one of the things is if it's going to be moved more than once, I'd say every 2 or 3 months, then it most certainly makes sense to have an electric height adjustable option. Because again, if you're just putting a piece of equipment on it, once you set it, it's forgotten about and it doesn't ever have to move. Then that works well for a fixed height, or if it's one person who's going to be sitting at this station for an undue amount of time, then it doesn't need to be adjusted.
So if you did add in the adjustable feature, what height range do your tables go to?
Our tables fit the 5th to 95th percentile individual, which goes from 28 inches to 45 inches high.
Excellent. So we've determined the task. What are kind of some of the next steps you look for?
Okay. Well, once we start doing that, we're going to start looking at what goes on the station. We start taking an inventory of the equipment that's going to be on there. Printers, tools, any specialized equipment. We got to take that all into consideration, even when you get down to tape and pencils and items like that. So once we've figured out all the stuff that needs to be on there, we can start assigning priorities to them. So that helps us to determine where they're going to be positioned on the station, because things with higher priorities tend to be closer to the individual versus things that have lower priorities, say, like a hammer that you use maybe once a week. You want to have that still on the station, but you want to have it so it's not in the way of the operator. What we always say is anything that does not pertain to the task should not be on the surface.
Excellent. That's a great kind of training philosophy there. And kind of going into training, once you get that system in place, what do you guys do to help ensure that it's being used properly now?
Well, once you go through the setup, you basically do plan out the station, and once it's all planned out and put into place, you have to start documenting what is happening on the station. Seems like kind of maybe not an important step, but it helps you determine how you got to that point, but also it helps with training the individuals on the station. You can put a lot of thought into this, but if people are not using the station correctly, then all the work that you've done is kind of thrown out the window.
Excellent, and completely agree. So thank you very much for joining us, and I'm glad that we got to talk about the process and what kind of things you should be looking for when designing and customizing your own workstations. I'm Kendra Perdeaux from Humantech of VelocityEHS brand. Thank you for joining us.